Coming to you straight from the Rio Grande and beyond. Broadcasting to the four corners of the globe. So grab your seat, your coffee, or your sundowner.
Okay, everybody, here we go.
On point, as always. This is Gloves Off. Gloves Off.
So when I was working on Selena, the series for Netflix, to play the role of Abraham Quintanilla, I put on a specific amount of weight, which I was fine doing, but also realizing it could be difficult to get that weight off. I got back into my physical regimen with James Leha, but I was still having trouble with just those last amounts. And that's when I got to meet Arturo from Laredo Medical Weight Loss Clinic. And just the products that he gave me kind of put me over the edge. I feel great about myself.
Back at you and Gloves Off, and I got two dear brothers of mine from the other side of the pond, Sifu Keith and Sifu John, and we're touching base on just martial arts in general, life in general, and the negativities out there in social media, and what can you do about it when it strikes you? How you guys doing? Good to see you all, brothers. You guys doing good?
Great to see you again. It's been too long. Yeah, no, all good. All good. Yeah, we're just getting ready for the run up to Christmas. We just finished off some 2 hours training here in my sitting room because the weather is a bit crap outside.
How's the weather over there with you all?
It's been bipolar. One day it's good, one day it's bad. We've had about a 5-degree drop today in the temperature, so it's it's a bit all over the place.
Yeah, well, Laredo's that way. You all experience the heat, and then now it gets cool at night and maybe cool in the morning, and might rain in the middle of the day, and all of a sudden the sun's hot. And half an hour later, it's like you said, it's bipolar. But let's touch base on. You brought up an interesting subject, and that subject was all the negativity that's running around on social media. What are you talking about? What because everybody experiences it.
Okay, so just the most recent one I suppose was we were in Orlando just before we went to see you at the end of October, and we did some breaking stuff there, and we set another world record, and the negative impact that we've gotten from those videos, not just ourselves but other guys who were on stage with us that day. Those blocks are fake, they're break, they're already pre-broken, all this kind of, all this BS. But it's hard because it's negativity that you don't need. Life is hard enough without this bullshit too. We went all the way to America. We set ourselves up. We did a world record. There was a lot of effort within that world record. Then we got through it. We set the new world record. We got the belts, and I think the first comment was a negative one on the social media posts. Now, it wasn't our own social media posts. It was there was a guy filming that was there, and his page seems to have a lot of negativity. Some were sort of send the guy a message and say, take our video down. I don't need the drama. I don't need the hassle, because if people want to see what I do, breaking's only one part of it. You know that. You brought me out there too. So, but no matter what happens, if you're fat, you're skinny, you're bald, you got long hair, you got a grey beard, you break things, you don't break things. The guy stands there too long for you to hit him. It's all negative.
Listen, I'm going to tell you all this, and positivity always wins. Okay, and I look in. A long time ago when social media first started and things occurred, and when we started teaching Savat here, everybody was such a negative until they got punched in the face and they realized that the negativity left, I post a lot of videos and I post a lot of stuff out there, and I'm very vociferous in the sense of let's get things done. Okay. There's a lot of martial arts out there, and we've had conversations before. martial arts has both the positive and the negative. And no matter how you go into a training hall, regardless of the system that it is, you're going to find those schools that are both positive and negative. Negative towards society, negative amongst each other. So you try to have a club, a crew that kind of has a positive mindset to keep moving forward. And I tell you, and I tell everybody else, I'm not going to worry about Ninja Boy 40,000 on TikTok and on YouTube. That you know what I'm saying, black belt, whatever, 4 million is talking about all this nonsense. Who the hell is she? Forget about it. Keep posting what you have. Keep posting what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing, because what you all are doing is positive. What you all are doing is incredible. People should follow that lead. There's a lot of people say, "Oh, the martial arts is for it's going to stop against uh, stop bullying." Jesus, I see more bullies in martial arts and in other arts, and they make fun of each other, especially here in America. And one thing I learned in France was in the club that I used to teach in, because I had a club in France for many years, for 3 years that I ran. That was my club. And for me, being an American in France, you were tested. And the club that I was at, ISPTT Chadron, you had a Shotokan karate in there, you had kung fu in there, you had a Tai Chi club, you had a boxing club, you had a Thai boxing club, you had an American boxing club, you had, of course, Boxe Française Savate club, you had some kind of tactical self-defense. And guess what? When somebody was fighting or somebody had a tournament and one of the guys from the Thai boxing club was fighting, everybody from that school supported that person. And I said to myself, man, this is wonderful. You don't have that type of essence in America. And here it's like, oh, my school's better than yours. It's okay to have rivalries like that. That's where we have tournaments. But to start cutting down other instructors just because, that to me shows a big negative on the person's part, the immaturity of it. And you all are full grown, mature, not only adults, but mature in the martial arts. And I'm going to tell you this: martial arts, I could care less what art or style you're learning. You're going to go into a growing phase. You're going to be in the toddler phase. You're going to be in the infancy stage. You're going to be in that little kid that, oh wow, look at Superman. Then you're going to be in that teenager that's going to be looking at the cinema and, oh wow, look what they're doing, and that's the way martial arts should be. Then you're going to be young adult, and then you continue on. And it doesn't matter on age; it just matters of when you started. So you can have a 30-year-old man that started martial arts, whatever it is, and might be in the toddler or infancy stage or a child stage that still believes in Superman, and you can fly around flying kicks all over the place and do all that stuff because that's the stage that they're in. And if that person is giving a rank, that's as far as their student's going to go. So in other words, if they're in a adolescent stage that everything is wow and look at everything that's there, that's how far their students are going to get to. And imagine their students. So it's always going to be one step below. And that, I think, is what has killed the martial arts worldwide, is that there's no more testing of people's skills. You know, if somebody calls you something in the street, most of us would probably turn around and what's going on or ignore it. But if an altercation comes in, we're going to go in. We're going to say, okay, what's up? But a lot of individuals are going to shy from that, and that's a testing that I say. You got guys out there that have never been in a schoolyard tussle, teaching others. And we've had that going on. That's nonsense.
You have an awful lot of armchair generals sitting there saying this and saying that. I have never probably been in a dojo in their lives, but they could sit there, sit at a typewriter and say whatever they want. A lot of the stuff that Sifu Keith does is sort of go, wow, that has to be fake. There's no way these breaks can actually happen. But I'm a witness to these breaks. They are true. there's certain times these breaks don't go, and they're the best ones where they don't go. That just proves that this shit is not fake. Because if you were able to break every single thing that's put in front of you, well, then, yeah, maybe they are fake. But I've seen him hit stuff and they haven't gone. And I go, wow, what does your instructor say? Hit it harder.
I think, being honest, that we proved that outside the sheriff's office in Laredo.
Perfect example.
Perfect example. And while it didn't go to plan that day, it still felt really good that people understood the stuff was real. You know, so you know, like you said, and John said, you know, people are always going to criticize. You know, what they don't realize is that I am my own biggest critic. I'm the one that criticizes me the most. And
Sure.
John is a thorn in my side. But you know, if I don't feel like something went right today, I'll keep going till I get it right. And I think that's the difference. When, like you said, there's a lot of people out there they've never experienced that failure. They've always got a medal just for showing up. You know, um, you've had your fights in the ring, same as me, and it's kind of, you know, there is no second place prize. There's only two people in that ring. There's no such thing as a silver medal.
Well, you know, they say second place, first lose.
You know, and it's sad because you see that by others that are, and they're proclaiming this, everything's, they call it bullshit. Oh, that's bullshit. Oh, that's bullshit. Oh, that's bullshit. They look at Savat, you know, Savat, you're kicking with shoes on, number one. Second, you should, if you're doing Savat, because Savat means shoe. You're using your shoe as a weapon, and you're striking certain points on the anatomy of the human body to bring that person down. And that can happen in the ring as it can happen in the street. And when you do those techniques, you can't kick somebody as hard as you do, like in Thai boxing when you have pads in or kickboxing when you have pads on your shins, and that's what you're showing. Even Thai boxers, it's a different kick. It's like hitting something with a hammer in comparison to a baseball bat. And when you do stuff like that at speed and with intent, things break, things go down, people get hurt. You know, this is what the art is for. The art is, number one, is for the street. Number one. Second is for the ring. Third is to build character. And people say, no, well, character should be the number one place. You're gonna get it if you go through the elements of it. But if you just stick around for 3 months, more likely you're not gonna get anything out of it. And if you go out there and start teaching at a young age, it takes time to mature and it takes time to produce, you know, because or else you're just gonna be vovating out there a lot of positive choice, but are they really getting it? Understand what I'm saying? A lot of positive messages out there, and all of a sudden they get hurt in the street because they're not tested. They don't know what they have. And what happens to the martial art? All martial arts suck. And that to me is what's happened in the long run. A lot of people have been searching rank, and the ranks have been given to them because I understand the financial needs of things, and people have gone away that way, and all of a sudden now you have people wearing rank that shouldn't be wearing it, and they're out there teaching, and it does this circle out there that there's nobody's being tested. Not saying that there's not good martial artists out there that end up going through there, but what I'm saying is you have a vast array of self-entitlement individuals that I'm paying you, you better give me the rank. No, you're paying for keeping the school open, basically. You have to work it out to get what's out of it, and you have to train.
I think that word you've just said, entitlement. Entitlement is a huge, huge issue at the moment in the martial arts. I remember, and I go back to 1996 when I went full-time training in London. I was asked what was my goal. We set goals for the training for the following year. So it was October 1st, 1996. I landed in London. We sat down and we had an open discussion about what was our goals. What was my goal? And I said, well, number one, I in other martial arts I've worn a yellow belt, I've worn a red belt. I said, I want to go old school. When I'm ready for black belt, you tell me. And I'll never ask, when am I ready for black belt? So that's exactly how it was done, because there was no sense of entitlement there. Yes, I paid my way. I did my training. I blood, sweat, and tears, as you did. But it was a case of when you're ready, you were told, listen, you're grading next week or next month or whatever. There was no such thing as, well, here's a yellow belt, give me 30 bucks or whatever. You know what I mean? It was just, this is how it was. There was no entitlement. I didn't feel like, I actually felt the opposite. I felt like that I owed more to my master than I did, anything else, because of the training and the time and effort that I got out of him. So today, myself and John, we went back to that area of 1996, my training, to help John progress to his next level. But again, there's no sense of entitlement there. John knows that when he's ready, I'll tell him. He doesn't have to ask me. He doesn't have to expect it. And just because we're good friends and we train every Tuesday together,
He wouldn't be doing me any favor if I gave him the grade I'm looking for. I've gone through certain schools where basically you show up for your 3 months, and you pay your money, you're guaranteed the next level. By an instructor handing a student a black belt, you're putting them in danger, because you're giving these people a false situation. They think this black belt around their waist, they walk out in the street, and as he said, they think they're Superman capes. That black belt's not going to save you out in the street. It's the
No.
knowledge that's been given to you. That's what you should be seeking, not the black belt. It's the knowledge.
You're absolutely correct, and that's what happens with a lot of people. They get, just like here, we had a bunch of kids here. A lot of these kids we trained, they were on a scholarship, they were for free. We trained them for free, and there's nothing wrong with that. The only thing that we ask, if you come in here, you get your uniforms and all that, you're going to get do good grades in school. So every time your report card comes from school, we want to see it. If you have a C and now you're getting B's, that's an improvement.
Yeah.
Understand? So for the last 4 years, 3 years, now this is our 4th year that we've been doing this program. Last 3 years, we have had how can I say, an average of our kids that were here. We have 12 from ages 6 all the way up. Usually the kids are from 8, 9, 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds that were in that bunch. They all got honor rolls in their schools. Okay. And one of the moms comes over and says, when are they going to get black belt in capoeira? And I go, well, there's no such thing as a black belt in capoeira. What do you mean there's no such thing as a black belt in capoeira? No, they just do it, continue. And it takes time. Also, they're not going to get black belts in capoeira. So they'll come here, but then all of a sudden, all the kids started coming sporadically until all of a sudden we lost them all. Well, they went down the street to the rec center, and they're paying $1,200 a pop, and they're all wearing black belts. Why? Because they could spin, they can jump, they can do everything else that we're doing here, and over there. So so we're like, now we're starting back up again to go get kids and enroll them and everything else. But that's what people want. You see, back then, I hate to say this because there's some excellent moms out there. But a lot of the moms right now are the ones that are bringing in their young kids to do martial arts. And they do not know the difference between sumo wrestling and capoeira, and or kung fu and scuba diving. They have no idea what is what. And what happens is every school that's out there, it's a black belt. So their ideology is, my nephew's wearing a black belt and he's 7 years old. My son's 11, he should be wearing a black belt too. So they're competing with the Joneses, and that competing with the Joneses does a huge disfavor for, like you said, for the survival skills of that kid in the street. He's going to have a false sense of ego. He's going to have everything that you're going to get into. If you don't get in a fight in elementary school, you might in middle school. You probably might in high school. And if you don't, you go with that self-ego attitude, and then you can get yourself hurt real bad once you graduate high school and you start hitting the bars and everything else, and you start with that attitude. And then somebody's going to say, what? It's a different story. And that is what happens with a lot of the martial arts out there. I would say 95%.
What about we give every student that walks in the front door, every student from day one, a black belt, and say, now, try hang on to that black belt. See how long you can keep it for.
You know, I have you've seen my sign. I've used it for the longest time. It says bullies wanted.
Yes, I love it.
Bullies wanted. I got called in TikTok and YouTube. Why are you promoting bullies? I'm not promoting bullies. I have yet to have a bully come in here and train.
They won't.
They won't. They won't. You know, and that's not the type of. I want the kid that's going to come in here, or the adult that's going to come in here, and they want to better themselves for themselves and be capable of defending themselves. That's the answer. And you have to do it. Like I said, positivity is going to win. And positivity is going to win if you have a good crew of people like you all helping others become better just like you. And then everybody else around can go fly a kite. Huh?
Good people trying to make themselves better.
Where did we hear that before?
Where did we hear that before?
What?
Good people trying to make themselves better.
Yeah.
But you know,
That's-
it is that positivity, and we need to stay positive. And that was my point of the whole conversation. That even though all that negativity is coming on social media, that's fine. Let it come. You know what? Because I keep doing what I do. I keep proving what I prove. You know, I've yet to meet somebody who could step on a mats with me and do what I do.
Yeah.
Regardless, I
Listen,
have my own way of doing things. I'm not necessarily saying I'm the best, but I definitely have a way of doing things that I prove it day by day by day that it works. You know, and in the positivity, every day I open TikTok or Facebook and all I see is your videos. So for me, that's a positivity and it's a role that I'm trying to follow. You know, and again, I think I said this in Laredo when I was there a few weeks back that, you know, you're such a positive role model for so many people out there. I don't think you actually realize how many people watch you daily and take a positive reaction to you. And I hope that I do the same this side. So for me, it's when people are in a close circle together and they're all driving positivity, well, then we can only drive positivity together, you know what I mean? Strength in numbers, and, you know, no matter what happens, no matter what comes at us, we don't let the negativity get us down. You know, okay, I'm middle-aged, I'm bald, you know what I mean? I'm carrying a few pounds extra, who cares? I can still do what I do. And every day I train is that little bit more than the person sitting on the couch criticizing me, you know?
Absolutely. You know, I get people call all the time, oh, that's not going to work in the street. Okay, whatever. Okay, good. Well, maybe it's not going to work for you because you don't train, because you haven't gotten off the seat and you're still there eating popcorn and your gummy bears and ain't going to get up, you know, you know what I'm saying? If you have a donut in your hand, it ain't going to work, you know, and that's what happens. People have never been, especially in certain arts, your all's art that you have, especially the breaking, you would see stuff like that in movies as a something that's myth, and it happens. It's something that's part of conditioning. There's people out there that do it, yourself and others, you all do it, and you all keep up those traditions going. Then you have people that are very, very good fighters, and you see them in the movies. They're very good fighters, and everybody wants to be like them. That's why they go see the movies of Jean-Claude Van Damme and Seagal and everybody else, and everybody makes fun of them. But yet they're sitting down in the box office paying money to watch their movies because everybody wants to be like them. Okay, and then you get the world champions that go into, I don't care if it's UFC, boxing, Savate, Thai boxing, and they go see a championship bout. Why are they watching those people out there? Because they themselves live in fear for not going out there and trying to do it. Understand what I'm saying? They look at them and they wish there were the two men out there battling it out, or women now that we have them, and they're trying to figure it out in their minds, kind of say, man, I wish I was out there. And they're dreaming about that, but they have the fear for not going out there and training. And there's a lot of training out there. And I tell this to people, there's a bunch. I mean, training, you can find it everywhere. Free gyms, pay for gyms. You can pay thousands of money. Martial arts is all over the scale in the sense of price, from 0 to about 1,000, depending where you're at. And I said, but people are afraid to go in and try. The main answers I get for people not coming here when they call for information. First of all, they call you for information about classes and schools and prices and all that stuff. And you tell them the next class is tomorrow at 8 o'clock at night. Oh, I can't make it. I'll start when I lose weight. Well, you've been like that since high school. It ain't gonna happen. You're 40 years old. It ain't gonna happen. Oh, let me get fit first. It ain't gonna happen because you're not fitting in the jeans that you're wearing right now. And then you know what I'm saying? Oh, let me go next Monday. They've been saying that for the longest time.
Yeah.
And
I said it. Sorry, I said it to a guy one time. He said, "Oh, I'll come on Monday." I said, "Which Monday?"
Yeah, which Monday?
Because I'm still waiting on that Monday to come. But I'll go to the gym and I'll get fit and lose weight first. I'll get in shape. Why would you do that? Come to me and I'll get you. You know, it's misconceptions and it's people's not ignorance. Ignorance is the wrong word, but they don't understand that the martial arts you've got a couple of different ways you can look at the martial arts. In one way, it's a lifestyle. For me, for you, for John, it's a lifestyle. Other people, it's a hobby. That's fine. You know, there's hobby martial artists, there's career martial artists, there's lifestyle martial arts. Like, it's all there for everybody. Everybody can take something from martial arts. And in the words of my master, you get back what you put in. You know, and again, in today's age, unfortunately, people are able to do your black belt test online. I don't necessarily agree with that, but you know, if that's something that you're getting offered and something that's happening, that's for you. I still believe in the old face to face. You feel what a punch feels like. You feel what a kick in the knee feels like. You feel what a kick in. It's not that I want to break people up, but myself and John were here today kicking shit out of each other, really.
But guys, when you think about it, what's the hardest part of martial arts?
Start.
Walking in the door. Get somebody to walk in that door, get off that couch, get into your car, and drive to the dojo. That's the hardest part. Once you get them in the door, they're addicted. I drive 2-hour drive here and back down to the south of Ireland. Why? Because I'm addicted. He has stuff I've never seen before. He has stuff that, you know, like, it's the real deal. I'm not standing there like I'm sore.
You know, people like you have a lot of commitment. Like I keep telling you, you're driving 2 hours one way and back.
Yeah.
Okay. I got people that they're students of mine that live a block away in the neighborhood behind my school, and they have excuses to come down and work out. Time, you know, we have 24 hours of the day. We all know that. And we have to make the time for ourselves as well. We have to make times for ourselves to be fit for ourselves. And me as a man, if I can, and I have a family, if I cannot protect them, then I'm not a man. Understand what I'm saying? And there's a lot of women out there that are doing great, but if you have to be able to have that behind you. You know, we live in Texas. You all were here in Texas, and you see
It took
people.
a lot to get over to see you because we see your videos. It is the real. You know, like, I wasn't going all the way over to Texas to see some fake shit. I felt you hitting me. I felt your guys. Your guys are the real deal. Like Danny and Lee and Jeremy, they're all good guys. They know what they're doing. We had that crazy Irish fellow from Mayo, like Porrick. Hi Porrick.
Yeah.
You know, these are the real deal. And what's the other guy? Oh, Clyde. Yeah, he thinks we're crazy. But these were real guys. They what you taught them, they showed us. And we've said, yeah, this is the same shit as what we do back home. And it was incredible. You know, that's not fate.
That is what makes me continue teaching. When I hear compliments like that, I want to thank you for those. It humbles me. And
I'm sorry, I don't know everybody's name out, by the way. I love all you guys over there. But even your son, like, he was incredible. The real deal.
he's calm. You've seen him. He's just
Absolutely. He's the next generation.
yeah. Hope that's what. But I'm not pushing it for him to do it. It has to come from him. I don't want him to be a teacher
Push it.
because
Can't push it. It's not going to happen.
when you're a teacher, I mean, he has a rank, he has this, he has a knowledge. He's getting there. He's been doing it longer than a lot of people that are out there teaching has been doing it. And when you see that, they'll probably teach in the future. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the folks to come in and say, you know what, I want to open up. Please do. That's what it's about. Please do. Let's push this out.
That's where positivity comes from. That's
absolutely.
That's what you need. You get negative comments, you're not going to go in the door.
I mean, negative comments can come, and they can say, okay, and you listen to them. Okay, what? Okay, maybe I won't eat that extra taco or that extra tortilla. Thank you so much for telling me that. But come on inside, and I'll teach you how to throw a jab. You know what I'm saying? And you see people that way, and a lot of individuals, like I said, that negativity that's out there, people, and especially, like I say, in martial arts, they want to hold all the instructors in a high pedestal. We're human beings, number one. We're teachers. We're human beings. And everybody, master this, master that. And I keep saying to this, we're no masters of anything. The only master is the one upstairs, and the only two individuals that have masters is a dog and a slave. And I don't own slaves, and I have a little dog that runs around with me. You all saw, and I think that's where we have to start coming back. We're all teachers. That's all we are.
But just touching on something you said earlier, again, some people will call it a brave statement because if I cannot protect my family, I'm not a man. And people have actually given out to me for that statement because they're going, oh yeah, well, equality and blah, 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 all this stuff that's in today's day. But it is a true saying that we grew up in an era, the male was the protector. Okay, you've got single moms out there who've had to protect their kids. They've done a good job. That's okay, that's fine. But for me, growing up, I was brought up that the male was the protector. And it was the generation we were raised as. So it's still something that I have inside me today. That I taught my sister how to protect herself and her kids. I taught my daughters how to keep themselves safe on the streets. My own Mrs. Sharon, she had an incident recently walking through Dublin City Centre where she felt very intimidated, but because of a particular pocket weapon I gave her, it wasn't a knife or anything, it was just a Kubotan. She felt protected, and she felt, because she knew how to use it. So my job was done. She was able to feel confident. And again, I think that's part of, as we're going back to that positivity thing, the positivity of a male role model in the house. If a lot more young guys out there at the moment had a positive role model, male role model, teaching them how to be the male, and not just to sit back and say yes and no, and but to stand up for what you believe in too. There's a huge element we could follow on that, but I think a lot of people have become complacent in the fact that yes, we as red-blooded males, we want to protect. And we want to protect what's ours, and we will fight tooth and nail.
I'm with you on that, and I see how can I say, I see everything changing, and like you said, your job was done when you taught your niece and your sister how to defend themselves. It's exactly right. We want to be able to continue teaching and making sure that those traditions are passed on, because they were passed on to us, so were entrusted onto us, for one thing. That's the main thing. And I'm not gonna disrespect those that came before me. But a lot of you know what I'm saying? And then a lot of people don't understand that. When you're giving martial arts goes back. I could names. It goes back to the beginnings of times when people had to defend themselves against other city states and other cities and other tribes and other ethnic groups and it goes back. Everybody had some type of fighting culture, or they looked at those men that had fighting culture because they were the ones that were going to defend everybody that was there. And not everybody was a warrior. Not everybody was a fighter. Not everybody stood up and defended themselves. You had other people that had other vocations, right? And what happens in the martial arts, not everybody that comes to the martial arts is going to be a teacher.
Yep.
And not everybody in the martial arts is going to be a champion. Not everybody in the martial arts is going to earn that black belt or the silver glove. Nobody. It's gonna find your level, and that level is gonna end up being there. That doesn't mean you stop doing what you're doing because you stopped at a certain level. You should continue training. You might end up breaking that plateau because of a shift in your habit, or something happened to you that all of a sudden you snap back and you start growing. But what I'm saying is, we as teachers, when we start, and I was failing at this, and I look at myself, I wanted everybody to be a champion. Not everybody wanted to be in the ring. Everybody wanted to train for the ring. And when the day came closer to weigh-ins, the crowd started diminishing. We could start off with 30 people. By the time we'll end up with 10 or 8, because everybody had an excuse, And one of them was, I call the girlfriend syndrome. My girlfriend's not letting me. She's gonna leave me. Well, and then 6 months later they'll come back. Hey, can you take me to the ring? That girlfriend left you. She was gonna leave you anyway. But what I'm saying is, when the fighters will be diminished, and I had to change myself, thinking I'm gonna make everybody a champion, whether golden gloves in boxing, whether in savate, and I said to myself, you know what? I'm just gonna make everybody capable of defending themselves and capable, good citizens in society.
Everybody out of your school with confidence to be able to defend themselves and their family. You're a winner. That's all it needs, just with confidence. Forget about the black belt. Send them out with the confidence that, especially young girls. I was watching a video there last night about a young girl that said she was walking down the seafront, but she was looking at the sun going down. And she had to realize, I have to be back off this seafront before the sun goes down, or I'm not safe. So she felt confident enough to be able to walk down that seafront with the sun on her back going down. That's what you need to teach. To feel confident that if some guy or girl comes up to you, you can defend yourself, or even have the confidence to walk past a pack of guys and feel like, I could take these out. You don't have to go out and kill them or fight them, but you need to be confident that I can hold my own. Not a bloody black belt around your waist.
That's just, the belt and the rank is only for the school that you're in and the association that you're in, and that's the only importance it holds. After that,
it's just a level. That's all it is.
It doesn't mean anything else.
Nothing else. Because if you're up in hospital visiting one of your students lying on a bed with broken arms, broken teeth, that's your fault, because you didn't teach them enough to defend themselves. Especially if you hand that guy a black belt.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see that, and I see that with the mistakes that they do. And every martial arts school is different. You have the positive schools and you have the negative schools. You have schools there that the crew after class, they're all smoking dope or before class to work out. And all that stuff has to change. And people are like, no, this is the way we do things here. If you want that, there's schools out there that do that, and then there's the schools out there that's a no-no. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of people say, "Oh, the bad guys don't." See, this is a misconception that we've had. All the Chuck Norris movies, all the Bruce Lee movies, all this the high rank, the black belt, the black sash, the instructor is fighting out the bad guys. But yet the bad guys are kicking and punching. Where did they learn their skills? From a martial arts school as well. So you have a lot of bad guys that are training as well in a lot of schools. That's just part of the thing. You know what I'm saying?
But like I explained to you when we were out there, back in the 80s, you had an element where maybe 5 to 10% of the whole population had trained in some form of martial arts, kung fu, karate, kempo, whatever. Now we're up to an element where we're over 50% of the population have done something, whether it be a weekend Krav Maga course, whether it be a couple of classes of kickboxing, MMA, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, something. So they all now understand when you put up your fist and put up your guard, they now recognize what's happening. Whereas back early 80s, people didn't recognize what was happening. It was, well, I say early 80s, they'd had Bruce Lee at that stage and other things. But you had all of these people who had only a little bit of experience and didn't recognize, you still had farmers who had never seen a martial arts movie back then. Now, everybody's seen martial arts. Everybody knows what it is coming. So now as we said when we talked in person, we've now entered a new realm where you have to be prepared for the guy who might look like an ordinary, 150-pound guy who doesn't look anything, but yet he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt who'll tie you up in knots if you let him and if you go down that route. But this is the area we're in now in comparison to when I started martial arts and when you started martial arts. So, but again, it's how it's progressed and evolved, and it's still evolving every day, and it's becoming more and more. But unfortunately, the conversation I had the other day was in evolving, certain martial arts have also softened. So you don't have busted nose, busted lip, you don't have a cracked eye anymore, because sparring is a lot softer now than it was back then. And a black belt back then had to do a lot more than a black belt right now. Not all schools, but some schools.
I look at things in the difference perspective because I've been not only studying this, and I study what occurs in the street, and I study a lot of fights that are in the street. I study a lot of elements in videos. I study it for why? Because I'm still learning, and I want to emulate what is out there to those that I'm teaching. Since the beginning, if you get all the folks that protected the underworld, as per se, all the henchmen, the enforcers, and everything else, to the day, the arts that they learn is boxing, either Sabat, Thai boxing, or they learn some kind of Kyoko Kinskai karate over in Europe. But that's basically the 4 arts that are around. They learn how to use a knife in many of the Asian systems, and they control the streets. So when you look at what they're doing, is what one needs to be training ourselves to be like, because those are the guys that are out there in the street. A lot of the arts that are being taught now, even though they have a lot of marketing behind it, are not effective for the street. And unfortunately, people are going to those because they have a lot of marketing behind it. And that's what I say with your all's videos and everything else. You all have to start moving it, especially in your area, pushing it out there in an element of pushing that to show people that this is a culture of positivity for them to come inside. And once you start teaching people that, which I think you all already are doing, is more people are going to be coming your all's way in positive martial arts schools. Because you can have a school that has 100 school students inside, but really, how many can really fight?
But what we were always taught never to go to the ground.
Oh, you never thought go. If you go to the ground, you're going to get in the street. You're going to get shoe shine, and that's what a lot of people do not understand. You're going to get a knife to your gut or kick to the back of the head. Yeah, it's like if we three are out there and we're having a fun time, or we go to a bar or what have you, and all of a sudden I go to the bathroom and I come out and you guys are getting in a fight and one guy has you on the ground. Guess what's going to happen to that guy? He's going to get his head's going to get punted into a field goal, and that's what's going to happen. And people do not understand that. It looks pretty, but why?
Jiu-jitsu is probably one of the biggest martial arts here in Ireland now, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But people are forgetting it's a sport. It is a sport. It's not street fighting.
If it is emulating a good positivity, good work for them as instructors and they're moving forward, and beautiful. But they cannot. I have a thing here. Even though Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a beautiful sport and everybody uses it, they use elements of it for MMA. And it's a beautiful art. I'm not degrading it. Once you go to the street, it passes a different realm. In the street, it's life or death, and things change. And the reason Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is very, very popular is because you don't punch to the face and you don't kick to the legs. The reason Savate is kind of low is because you punch to the face and you kick to the legs. The reason Thai boxing is picking up now higher than before is because now you're wearing shin pads on half your legs and you're kicking each other with padded shin protectors that are about this thick. Yeah, you're going to feel the thump, you're going to feel the move, but you're not going to get hurt as in the 80s when Thai boxers were being trained without no pads. And so things have evolved in a different format. Now you go to the street and you're kicking wildly because a lot of people telegraph, and you're kicking wildly, and all of a sudden you meet a boot heel because I stop you in a certain way. I do because that's what we train in Savate. We're implementing that. And I use that shoe to, you're not going to get up. You just fell down to the ground. That's the end of the story. And when you get in the ground in the street, you're going to get shoe shine, whether there's a good guy from a good school of Taekwondo, Kung Fu, whatever it is, a guy from boxing, a guy that doesn't know anything, they're going to kick you in the ground and they're going to keep you in the ground. And that's just the way it is. And it's just like that negativity. Negativity brings in people. And I know that you all have worked as doormen as well. You get there's a street fight and somebody goes down to the ground. The guy that just walked out of the parking lot, paid the valet, is going to go kick him as well. It's going to bring this frenzy. And once that frenzy starts, you're in a bad situation. So
that's where instructors need to teach their students. There are no rules on the street.
There's none.
There's none. Anything goes.
Anything goes, and I keep telling these people, and when I was one time I was doing security, working at a nightclub. This big old guy, they started fighting, and the guy grabs one guy from the jaw and go clack, and I was like, that's the story, and you're like, wait a minute, well, they didn't teach me that move in that's what you have to work on. That's why you have to move. And I think when we go back, because now we're taking it to the people shut that off. Oh, that doesn't happen. But yet every Sunday morning, if you look at Facebook, all the Saturday night fights and Friday night fights are all on there. And you have women busting each other up, grabbing hair, pulling everybody on the ground, and guys that can't throw a punch running around, and then you realize that some of these guys go to some of these schools, and you're like,
it's funny because, as you said, we've seen it time and time again. You're standing on the door of a nightclub or a bar, and these guys are swinging and swinging and swinging, and you're going, if I teach this to my guys in class, they go, yeah, but nobody swings like that. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
And then it happens. Not everybody throws a perfect jab cross.
They do John Wayne's. They John Wayne you all day long.
Yeah, and I go back. I tell the story all the time. One night I was escorting a guy out of a bar, and his breath he drew back his hand, and I thought he was going to put a postage stamp on it. He sent it from that far back, you know. But I remember looking at it. He's not going to throw. He is going. Oh, actually, he is throwing that. I had so much time to think. By the time it got to me, I was like, "Wow, I can't believe he actually did that." You know, like I thought that was myth that people would do stuff like that. Now, but you know, again, just to get back on topic quickly, it's just I think, like you said, positively. Um, my videos, I've been kind of taking a leaf out of your book too with some of the videos. You know, it's showing people that we're teaching good stuff, we're teaching positive stuff. You know, in a friendly atmosphere. Yeah, we're gonna hurt you, we're gonna play with you, but you know what? You're gonna learn how to do it too. So
Yeah.
you know,
And that's what I tell people. You have to be there. Before I didn't want to do anything on TikTok, and I got on TikTok because I started seeing that. In my mindset, everybody was the 12-year-old kid jumping around on TikTok. But that 12-year-old kid 10 years ago is now 22, 23, and that's where his attentions is at. So that's where we should be posting our content.
lost your audio.
Time, each group was always the 24, 23-year-old to the 40-year-old.
But you know, something I think I said it to you when we were out on the radio, we were having a conversation. I do believe that men of 40 plus, they're now in an area of their life where more and more people are going to the gym. Like I was in the gym this morning at 7 a.m. and I was looking around at the age demographic in the gym, you know, and it was men and women in their 40s. I thought, wow, because they're getting more into looking after themselves, getting a little bit of time for themselves. Now I think is a time where people of that age start looking at martial arts. Okay, you don't need to be kicking head height. You don't need to be doing taekwondo. You can do a martial art like Savat, like Kung Fu. You can do some Kokushinkai, like you said. There's not every system you need to be the fittest person out there. You can actually do a really good martial art for you that can teach you life skills as well as, you know, how to defend yourself, how to defend your family. And I think more and more people are starting to look at it now. And I'm hopeful for 2024 that through everything that we've done so far, people are starting to take notice of, hold on a minute, if I can go to the gym for an hour, 5 days a week, I can sure go to 2 classes a week of doing Savat or doing Kung Fu or, you know, it's an element that I'm trying to help people understand. And I know you're doing it, your videos are doing it. So, but like John said, like John is 53. John's 53 now. And, you know, for him, martial arts has really taken a turn in the last 4 years. You know, it's only now in this stage of life he's starting to realize the advantages of his martial arts training and how it's helping him. So hopefully more people start to open their eyes in that sense too. And that's part of the positivity that I want to push out there, you know.
Yeah, it's all about positivity, even there, and um, and you're always going to be. We've been here since '88, so it's probably here in Laredo. It's one of the older schools here. When it comes, whether there's some clubs that are older than us by a couple of years, but it's been here for such a long time. A lot of people look up to see what you're doing, and they're going to try to implement it. And that's great. That's what you want. And we did a workshop for the longest time. We always used to do some kind of fundraiser seminars who collect money before we used to buy kids that in need jackets and toys and stuff like that for a long time. And I kind of stopped it in the last couple of years, like right before COVID, I kind of stopped doing that. And this year's that we did it again, I decided to myself, there's a bunch of kids in the neighborhood that don't have bikes. So we did a workshop for women this past Saturday. And let's kill 2 birds with 1 stone. The donation is going to go to buy kids bikes, and I'll match it. And there were some other businesses that and that helped out and said, okay, here's what we're going to do also. And we'll give them out the bikes for these kids that are around here. And stuff like that starts within their community. that my local community is my neighborhood that I'm at, really. Then it's Laredo, then it kind of goes out this way, you know? And if we can start with that positivity, doing that in our neighborhood where your school's at, and then goes out towards the city, then it goes out, then it'll start growing in a positive manner. And a lot of people need to realize that our schools are here not only to teach people how to give people black eyes, but also to give them a confidence booster and self-esteem booster, a protection of, guess what, this is going on in the town. We have a person over here that likes to mug people. Let's bring it out. Let's bring out the police. Let's bring out our sheriff, as you know, and let's talk about those elements out there for them to educate what's out there instead of
But
being
Paul,
afraid.
you can get these young kids young and get them in off the street. You know, you're keeping them safe as they're getting older because idle hands, devil's work. You know, so you're getting these kids in, training them, you're keeping them away. Like the community needs to realize by you having them in school, teaching them, as you said, teach how to confidence, give black eyes, but you're taking them off the street. They're not going around with guns. They're not going around stabbing the granny or mugging the granny around the corner. You're a public service, you know, and so, like businesses need to understand this as well.
Yeah, it's something that's around here. I mean, we get people that come down right after you all left, about 5 days after you all left, more or less. This girl from down the street came running over to the school because her boyfriend had beaten her up, where she was living, and she saw this as a sanctuary. From here, we call the police. And if a boyfriend comes here, nothing's gonna happen to you, I guarantee.
Yeah,
you know, he's gonna get a lesson. That's what we want. You know, those bullies want it. And so we got that to in a sense of, they know that there's a sanctuary if need be for them to be able to, you know, it's a positive element that's there. It's an element that people can come here. We're trusted into that sense. And that's something that has kept me going, you know, because every so often we as instructors, we as humans, we end up in a fork of the road. What are we going to do next? And this year that's what has been doing. Where do I continue? Do I continue here? Do I continue there? And what are we going to try to build? Are we going to stay and move and build better? And that's where we're at. And when that girl came down, that showed sense of, they know we're here. Understand what I'm saying?
Well, you're an elder of the community. You know, that's what you're considered. You're an elder of the community, as you said. You're one of the oldest schools in Laredo, and you're trusted. You know, and that's what you need. Is like Keith here in Balbriggan. I can't walk down Main Street in Balbriggan without somebody saying hello to him. We can't get past 2 shop runs without stopping and having to talk to somebody, because he's been here so long, and his father was here before him, so he's respected in the area, which is amazing.
And from there, it just starts growing out. You know, look at us. We got connected, and you all are in Ireland. We're talking over here, and there's others that are like us connected, because we're, you know, it's like that old saying, birds of a feather flock together. So if we're gonna stick with a positivity, like I said, positivity wins. And I hate to bring that up again, but that is the truth. And there's a lot of martial arts out there. They're going to be negative. They're going to flock together, and they're going to go out there. They can do whatever they want. And when the time comes, when that knock at the door comes, when that little bell rings, and you have to prove yourself, and you're being tested by some thug in the street, some punk in the street, somebody that wants your wallet, then you're going to realize that whatever you were doing ain't going to help you. And that is going to be the biggest lesson.
That is the real test. That is the test. That's your test for your black belt.
That's your test.
There's your test. Not your black belt test. What's happened next week.
So all these Ninja Boys 4000 and Predator 105, and you know, I can kick them harder than you and everything else. That's the real test.
I said it to you before. One of my profiles said, if you want to know me, step in the mats with me. You know,
You don't have to sit
it's
in the
not that
mats, me. We can go in the
it's not that I'm
asphalt. I
saying,
mean, it's just the way it is. Doesn't
not that I'm
matter.
saying that's bad. I'm just saying, come and see me in my real environment where I'm most happy and where I'm actually at most at ease. And
Yeah.
like you, I figured out a lot when I was in Laredo, but you and me are more alike than I ever thought because we're both very happy and very at ease with pain, both giving and receiving. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh, he
Yeah.
can give
Is that? I didn't hear you. What?
he can give pain. I felt it today.
And that's, you know, that people need to understand that, you know, that's where it's about. Martial arts, that's what it's about. You don't go to martial arts. And I tell this to people, if you're going to a martial arts school, they used to tell me this. I said it one time and I'll say it again. And they used to say, oh, what are you talking about? The first question, ask the instructor that's teaching you, have you ever used this for real? And if he says, well, I fought in the ring and I was in the ring, that's good enough. But if he says, I got in a fight one time here because I was protecting this, if they say no, then that's not the school you should be at, because you cannot teach something that you have never lived. And that is the number one question. And people kind of frown on that because they can get taught everything they want. It looks great on paper, but in reality, doesn't add up, you know? Um, I see the Christmas tree back over there. I want to wish you all and your all school a great Christmas. And for those folks out there, you know, because we're running out of time, a wonderful Christmas. It's a couple of days from now. And I think this year is going to be a better year.
Absolutely.
100%.
I know. Just quickly, I'm going to give a quick plug on the fact that we're going to Switzerland on February 20th.
February 23rd, we're in
23rd.
Switzerland.
Yeah, then we're in
Awesome.
we're in Massachusetts, Chicopee, Massachusetts,
March 14th.
16th.
We arrive March 14th. We're there until
Then I've got the big tournament. Hopefully, I get you guys over in April.
Okay.
Then I'm back in Canada in May. Portugal in June. Spain in July. So we have a very, very busy year next year, but a very positive year. And we've got a lot coming up. So, you know,
That's what it's all about. It's the positivity that we have to emulate, and it starts, like I said, it starts in your neighborhood, and it goes to that's the first community. Then it goes to your city, then it goes to your state or province, and then it goes to your country. Then it goes out, and it goes out, and that just continue. It's going to continue growing. I'm very proud. I mean, I'm happy because that's what needs. Next year, we got a couple of things coming around as well. We got a couple of tournaments. I know that in March I'll be in Brazil. My wife comes back and I go to Brazil, and then we're trying to make it out to you all as well. And then next year, believe it or not, I'll be 56. I started this road when I was 6, so that means I'm involved in this for 50 years. So we're gonna try to do something for our 50th. And then I'm going to try to do something at probably at the same time for our 35th annual Savat exam, known as a Passage de Grade, which is a passing of the grade. And trying to do something of that probably June, if we can get everything together, squared away. If it's not June, it's going to be in July. But that's basically what we're going to try to shoot for. And of course, other stuff that comes in as well. And there's other events. When are you coming down to Massachusetts?
14th.
St. Patrick's weekend. So St. Patrick's weekend. It'll be the competition is 16th of March.
Oh, okay.
So, being run by a guy called Ken Goodrich. We're on the phone to him earlier. Yeah, that's the next big tournament in the US.
Awesome.
And then obviously Toronto, Canada in May.
In October, we're in
Florida again.
Florida.
So, and again, in between all this, hopefully we'll get you here in April, and then I'd like to try and do something with you for the 50th anniversary too. So
Yeah. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what we'll put it all together. Once more, you all have a blessed Christmas and a
Merry
prosperous
Christmas.
New Year. And let's just keep on moving with the positivity. That's what I'm looking at. I'm saying about everybody else. Until next time,
Thank
much
you, Tom.
peace. Be safe.
Happy Christmas.
One of the reasons I joined Putron Academy here and enrolled my son is the legitimacy of the school.
No tenemos palabras maravillosas, sinceramente no tenemos ninguna palabra negativa, estamos totalmente agradecidos. Lo único que yo podría decir como madre es que se animen completamente a venir a traer a sus hijos aquí a la academia. Totalmente, es una experiencia muy bonita.
Overall, the academy is I've had a great experience with it, and I would encourage anyone who would want to become a better version of themselves to join.